The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Anthony Joshua finish, or do you think Anthony Joshua can bounce back? So, as you know, Anthony Joshua, he got KO'd in the 5th round against Daniel Dubois, and now people are going to be asking the question, is he finished? So we're going to take a look at what happened after the knockout, some of the information that came out after the knockout, and then we're going to discuss it. So first, we're going to listen to Anthony Joshua in the post-fight interview, what he had to say after the knockout, and here it is right here.
After that type of fight, but we are going to see another rebuild, aren't we, AJ?
Yeah, I think, you know what it is, before I came here, I'm always saying to myself, I'm a fighter for life. We rolled the dice at success and we came up short, and we roll it again in it, if you know what I mean. We keep rolling the dice.
Was it mistakes in there tonight, or was Daniel Dubois just too sharp, too fast?
If I'm honest, it's a bit of a mix. I had a sharp opponent, a fast opponent, and secondly, a lot of mistakes from my end. But that's the game. As pissed off as I am, it is what it is.
It is what it is. As you say, you rolled the dice. Your numbers didn't come up today, but I'm sure they're going to come up in the future. Congratulations on a good performance. That was a fight. Last question.
So AJ said he rolled the dice. You know, it didn't go his way, but he's not looking to retire, basically. So now we're going to look at what Eddie Hearn had to say after the loss and after the fight. And this is what Eddie Hearn had to say.
I'm sure he'll exercise that rematch clause. I mean, I think that's a given, but he'll need a rest. And it's a dangerous fight. This guy's growing in confidence all the time. But he'll believe he can hurt Dubois. He'll believe he can beat him. But full credit to Daniel Dubois. He deserves all the credit tonight. It was a great performance from Daniel. I'm sure he'll exercise that rematch clause. I mean, I think that
Eddie Hearn says there's a rematch clause. So Eddie Hearn reveals there's a rematch clause in this fight, and that he's sure that Anthony Joshua want to exercise the rematch clause. You heard Anthony Joshua. He stated like he was open to doing it again. And so there's that. Now, this is what Anthony Joshua had to say in an interview after the fight where, you know, you shower, you think, you have time to think about what took place. Here's what he had to say during this interview.
How was the first round?
First round? Yeah. Overhand right, chin in the air, no defense, kaboom. It was a bit of a downhill slope from there. Tried to change the tide. Yeah. But it just went my night tonight, Steve.
When you walk out for the 5th, suddenly you look sharper, your hands are higher, you look truly focused going into the 5th.
Yeah. And then I caught him with a good shot, I think, and then I tried to go for it, and then I got caught with overhand right when I was throwing the uppercut. Thing is, I wasn't setting shots up. In a shootout like that, you really got to be a bit more sniper-esque. But when you've been hit a few times, it's survival. I'm in survival mode. I just want to get him out of there. And we had a shootout, and he hit me.
You hit him as well, but he hit you in the final.
Exactly.
You're not finished, are you?
No. I'm glad he is. You know, we had a bad night at the office. Listen, if people want to see me fight, I'll fight. I'll fight. That's it.
All right. So you heard Anthony Joshua there. He acknowledged a lot of the mistakes that he made. I'm sure he's been listening and people were telling him in his ear. He had Ben Davison there. Ben Davison said, like, you know, I take a lot of the credit for what took place, just like I take, you know, credit for the victories. I got to take credit for the losses. So I'm sure he explained that to him. So this is Anthony Joshua when he went into the post-fight press conference. Here's what he said in the post-fight press conference.
Say a few words.
Firstly, always walk with your head high. We took a shot at success and we came up short, unfortunately. We rolled the dice, man, for the third time. There's 13 world title fights. Not everyone's been successful, but everyone's been fun and entertaining. We're trying to create history for British boxing, and I think we're doing that. And also, I appreciate all the press, media. The fans aren't here, but I thank them through you guys. I'm sure you guys will let them know that we're appreciating their support. And probably you're asking, do I still want to continue fighting? Of course I want to continue fighting. That's what I said is, we took a shot at success and we came up short. And what does that mean now? We're going to run away. We're going to live to fight another day. And that's what I'm a warrior. And also, before I finish, we have to give credit to our opponent as well, Daniel. Even though when I sign up to fight opponents, I don't really like him in my head anymore. But now it's done. I take my hat off to him and say, well done, Tim and his team. And also thank you to my team as well for the way they prepared me. There was a few mistakes in there, but that's the name of the game. Fine margins can cost you level. So thank you.
All right, so that's what he had to say. We got one last video we're going to take a look at, and then we're going to discuss whether or not Anthony Joshua is finished or can he bounce back. So here's the last video, basically, where he's leaving and someone asked him a question and he answered it. So this video appears courtesy of Fight Hub TV. Subscribe to Fight Hub TV.
Like run over.
Yeah.
What was the difference tonight?
You never underestimate your opponent. You never underestimate your opponent. And credit to him and his team.
Where's the talk?
Do you think you underestimate?
It's not a press conference.
Let's go. Tonight was nice. But Joshua, one more question. And tomorrow, people are going to be saying all the things that they said after your previous defeats.
We can't
How
worry
do you
about
handle
what people
that?
say. It's about how you see yourself. Thank you guys, yeah?
Thank you for the time.
So if you didn't hear that, it sounded like Radio Raheem asked Anthony Joshua, tomorrow people are going to be saying what they've said after your previous defeats. And AJ said, I can't worry about what other people say. It's about how you see yourself. So Trill Dollar Bill, is Anthony Joshua finished or will he be able to bounce back?
Nah, AJ ain't finished. I'm glad he said about the rematch because I love to see the rematch. Like I started off these videos today, what I said. You can just tell he underestimated him. Like I said, I underestimated Daniel Dubois too. You know what I'm saying? He took him in that like this was a joke. This was the Lennox Lewis Hasim Rahman moment. You know what I'm saying? This happens. This happens. You know what I mean? This is what happens. You know what I mean? People can act like all the AJ haters, you know what I'm saying? They out there, you know, they happy right now. But don't close the book on AJ just yet. You know, I hope they do have that rematch clause because I know he'll definitely take it. And I'm still rolling with AJ on it. I think that he knows what he did wrong. He knew he was in there playing. He knew he was in there underestimating this kid. And this is what happens in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? You come humbled or you get humbled. You know what I'm saying? I was humbled. You know what I'm saying? I was humbled by this whole thing. That's why I was like, I was laughing. I was laughing. And AJ's taking it well, too, because he realized what it was. He even said it out of his own mouth. Never underestimate your opponent. Never underestimate your opponent. There's been a lot of that going on in boxing. Everybody been feeling good sitting in those seats. You know what I'm saying? You could be getting knocked out of them seats, you know? Like any moment, you know, you don't play boxing. You don't play boxing and you don't go in there underestimating your opponent because if you do, you see what happens. You see what happens. But yeah, I don't think AJ is finished. I want to see the rematch. I think he can pull it off. I done seen heavyweights lose before. By no means, because I know y'all weirdos. I'm not comparing Muhammad Ali to Anthony Joshua. But y'all done seen Muhammad Ali, the great Muhammad Ali, lose 3 times and come back to defend those losses. So don't act like this boy Anthony Joshua can't do it because he did it before with the Andy Ruiz and he might be able to do it again. Okay, so don't cut the homie out too soon. Okay, but nah, I don't think he's finished. And besides, there's other fights for him to go. Even if he didn't get the Daniel Dubois fight, I'm sure people go want to see the Wilder fight now. You can promote that. Wilder's coming off a knockout loss. AJ is coming off a knockout loss. Let's get this money. But anyways, no, he's not finished. There's still other fights out there for him. But I would want to see this rematch because I know what AJ believes. He went in there and he took him lightly. He thought he was going to steamroll him like I did. And if you don't come humble, you know the Boxing Bros motto, you get humble.
Yeah, so obviously there's always going to be recency bias and people are going to look at your most recent performance and there's the saying you're only as good as your last fight. But if you look at everyone's career, for the most part, there have been down moments. Let's just take the guy who Anthony Joshua was in the ring with, Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois was stopped by Joe Joyce and labeled a quitter, dropped 3 times by Lorena, and somehow was able to get up off the deck and win that fight. And then he fought Alexander Usyk, and he was stopped with a jab, basically. And then he fought Hrgovic, and he took punishment. He won. He beat Gerald Miller. And then he just stopped Anthony Joshua. And now he's on a high again. But at a certain point, everyone was saying he's not the goods. He's overrated. I dubbed him triple knee. I didn't think that he would be able to deal with Anthony Joshua or take an Anthony Joshua right hand. Granted, Anthony Joshua didn't throw many or land many. He did land some, and they were hard, and they hurt Daniel Dubois, but he stood up, and he stood his ground. And even in the 5th round, AJ was on the attack. He didn't fold. Daniel Dubois actually did the intelligent thing. He timed him and countered him and caught him with a vicious shot. And like Trill was saying, I didn't think Daniel Dubois had that in him. That was some high-level stuff what Daniel Dubois did. That was sweet science what Daniel Dubois did. So you got to get.
He played us. Dubois played us with that bag video.
That's why I said I hope it was like the 15th round that he was hitting the bag, and they were just showing.
I see your tricks, Daniel.
Daniel was leaking bad footage of himself, like, you know, but but again, you look at it like that. So then you take Joseph Parker. At one point, people were looking at Joseph Parker like his career was finished. Joseph Parker had suffered some defeats. He got knocked out by Joe Joyce. People were ready to write him off. I remember people clowning us when we said, and let's go back to this, that Joseph Parker pierced Joe Joyce's armor, and the damage he did to Joe Joyce made it easier for people to knock out Joe Joyce moving forward. People looked at us and said, we were crazy. Joseph Parker didn't do anything. Well, let's look at the trajectory of their career since then. Joseph Parker has revived his career with great victories over Jane and over Deontay Wilder. And Joe Joyce has looked bad in a comeback victory, and he lost to Derek Chisora, and he got dropped by Derek Chisora. And Derek Chisora is a passionate fighter, a fan-friendly fighter, but he's not known as a power puncher. And so this is what I'm saying to you. At one point, it looked bleak for Joseph Parker. People were ready to write off Joseph Parker, and he was able to bounce back. So, again, if boxing has taught you anything, especially in the heavyweight division, it's more of a style clash, and you can't always, predict and say whatever. Remember, again, it was Francis Ngannou fighting Tyson Fury. Francis Ngannou dropped Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was fortunate enough to get a split decision victory over a guy making his professional boxing debut. And then in his very next fight, Tyson Fury had the best heavyweight on the planet, Alexander Usyk, kissing the cross. Like, God, if it's your will, let me go knock this big mother effer out. Like, that's how boxing is. Like, you can't just go. So is Anthony Joshua finished? He said the right thing. It's how you see yourself. How does Anthony Joshua see himself after this fight? Because Anthony Joshua's been in this position before. He lost to Andy Ruiz and he went to immediate rematch. He became one of only a few heavyweights to win the championship back in an immediate rematch. That was Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, Anthony Joshua, and Floyd Patterson. So it's rare for someone to lose and then go into immediate rematch and then get it back. That's what Anthony Joshua was able to do. He was able to become one of the few. So Anthony Joshua shown he can improve. He can go back in the immediate rematch. Remember, he got stopped by Andy Ruiz too. He came back and he won. So you can write off Anthony Joshua, but if recent history has shown you anything, even Derek Chisora got written off. If recent history has shown you anything, especially in the heavyweight division, anything can happen, especially with one punch. But there is one thing that I would like to point out. The talk about Anthony Joshua not having heart needs to stop. The talk about Anthony Joshua being mentally weak needs to stop. The talk about him being a coward needs to stop. Because although Anthony Joshua lost this fight, how many people would have survived the way he did? He was gone. I'm telling you, when he was on the ropes, the referee should have stopped it and gave him a count. The referee didn't. He was still there blocking Daniel Dubois' attack. He made it out that round. Then he came back. He was surviving. The fact that Anthony Joshua was even in the fifth with a chance to try to take out Daniel Dubois is a testament to his heart, because we all thought, and I know a lot of people, once he got dropped and you're like, oh man, it's over. There's no way AJ could survive. He found a way to survive. He found a way to get to the next round. And then he came on strong in the fifth. So if anything, right? If anything, maybe AJ discovered some confidence in himself now that he may go into the next fight with. Like, I can survive Daniel Dubois. It's time to see if Daniel Dubois can survive me.
He ain't never been in a fight before. That's why I was laughing, bro. When you were saying that they think AJ don't got no heart. Y'all guys ain't never been in a fight before. Y'all just sitting there.
Yo, bro, I've been saying that. Like, when people be like, oh, you need to fight the best. Like, one person said to me, or not to me, but they said in our comment section, something online like, oh, Muhammad Ali fought the best. Lie. Muhammad Ali didn't fight the best after the best. You can go check. I forget the dude's name. There was like some guy, like, go. That's why I said pull the box. I could pull the box right now, but it's not even the point. Yo, everybody has to fight, stay active fights, because you want to keep the tools sharp, but you don't want to take as much punishment. And that's how upsets happen in the sport of boxing. Why do you think upsets happen? Because you select someone who's supposed to be a stay busy fight, keep your tools sharp. They call it a tune-up, right? Right before you go into a mega fight, and that person catches you. That's how things happen. Because you can't, if that's the case, Lennox Lewis took on all the best fights. Why'd he lose to Oliver McCall? Why'd he lose to Hakeem Rahman? If the best always fought the best, Lennox should never been in the ring with those guys, because you take stay active fights. Sometimes you got to fight a mandatory. Sometimes your mandatory comes through and takes you out. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect Lennox for people who get sensitive. I think Lennox is an all-time great. My point is, no one has fought killer after killer after killer after killer after killer. That's a good way to get yourself killed. For real. That's why I said, you guys never had a hard weightlifting session before. Any of you. Like, you don't even have to be a fighter. Let's just be logical for a second. You ever had a hard weightlifting session? Do you go in the next day and work the same muscles again? Do you do that? If you do that, that's why you get no results. So now, you ever see someone play a football game? Do they have back-to-backs in football? And you take a whole week off and you play the game again. And mind you, you have different people playing offense and defense, and they're wearing a whole bunch of equipment. And they still need time to recover before they can play another game. So people who talk this stuff, it's like, I encourage everyone just to get a feel. If you've never done it before, go in the ring at your local gym. They won't even let you in the ring at your local gym, because you got to complete like a few weeks, even months for some of you, before they'll even approve you and stamp you to spar. But once you get to the level where you can spar, hop in that ring. See what your jaw feels like, especially when you're not used to getting punched in your jaw. See what it feels like. You're going to see when you're not used to boxing, it hurts to even throw a jab. It hurts even after throwing jabs repeatedly. Your shoulder's like this. Yeah, ice your shoulder. So like you said, bro, all that stuff's crazy. But AJ deaded that. You can say whatever you want about AJ. Just like Wilder, when Wilder got cooked by Tyson Fury in that third fight, Wilder showed heart. You can never question his heart. Questioning AJ's heart is dead. Questioning his mental toughness is dead. Especially when you got guys who got knocked out and don't want a rematch, don't want their get back, don't want to immediately hop in the ring. AJ wasn't even out of the ring saying, I want to do this again. You got to respect that guy.
You got to. Like, everybody has one of those losses. Even the great Muhammad Ali lost to Leon Spinks. Everybody, it happens. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. Please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. I'm the commissioner, Trill Dollar Bills. My brother Cadence, LLG for life. We the box.